Hello traders, it's 𝗧𝗿Trader here. Welcome to session 152. In today's session I'll be explaining to you how I trade oil, the Texas tea, the black gold. And right now with the war in the Middle East, there's never been a better time to consider trading oil. Now if you can't afford the full contract with oil, the margins are up at the moment. Also you can also trade the micro oil contract. So normally per tick or per point on oil it's $10 per tick. On the micro it's 10% of the value, $1. So that's another real option for you. Now this is what I call the $1,000 a day challenge. On average now I'm looking for a $2,000 a day income. I'll show you how I do that. Now also I believe very much in what I call POQ, the power of quitting. That is, I want to hit a target and usually wrap up for the day. So let's get into this. Now first of all, and let me not forget, it doesn't matter which market you trade, whether it be futures, forex, or stocks, or which market itself, whether it be gold, whether it be the ES, the strategies work exactly the same on all markets and all time frames. Understanding the risk, there is a risk in trading. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. Stay on the simulator until you're consistently profitable. So in today's session I'll walk you through these trades that I've taken. I'll explain them when I start playing the recording. So it was a good session. It was all over probably in about probably 30 minutes that I put it on there. Normally I put on the chart how long this took. As I mentioned, I like to get in, get out, get paid. Now this also is just before midnight Central Standard Time. Now I prefer trading the after hours market just because it's a bit slower, yet you still got great volume on markets like the ES and on CL, and you can still really hit a great target. So if you've got a full-time job, get home from work, if you're in the USA where probably 90% of my clients are based, you can start day trading. So rather than just focus just on the New York session, you can be trading after hours as well. Now what about if you want to trade during the New York session? What you would change is the time frame. You trade a higher time frame. What I'm also going to briefly show you in a moment is the trades I took the day after, and I didn't bother even recording that session. So I had 3 out of 3 out of that. We had so that worked out to be 452 per contract. Now my target on the 4-tick CL is $400 a day. So depending on the time frame I'm trading, I've got a little chart I use, or a little formula is a better way of putting it, that I use on what my target for the day is. Now very quickly, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. Click on the link below. You can also download my ebook, The Truth About Day Trading. Better still, why don't you come and join me for $200? I'll be very quick with this. For $297 you get all of my indicators. If you don't have TradeStation on NinjaTrader, I'll give you the settings so you can set it up on any trading platform. Excuse me. There's over 35 PowerPoints. There's literally hundreds of videos, both live and training videos. But most importantly, I teach you the easy money trades. I've got complete cheat sheets and videos where I walk you through step by step. My members area is extremely comprehensive. You've got lifetime access to that. And last of all, I also throw in 8 coaching sessions. That is, I run live coaching sessions every Tuesday and Wednesday evening, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have lifetime access to those recordings, and if you can't attend, of course you can watch the recordings, and I include 1 month of that in the $297. That's it. No other money that you have to spend. And as you'll see, well, you won't see it, but I've been day trading now for over 28 years, and well, you can perhaps see part of my library in the back. This is my full-time business and I love it. By the way, I also run a live trading room where I've got just under 300 traders registered for my live trading room. So let's get into this, shall we? Look, I'm going to skip some of this and just really get down to the tin tacks of the trading. But the bottom line is 400 a day may not sound like a lot to a lot of people, to some of the traders watching this. To many it would be life-changing, but what would a $10,000 a week income mean to you? It'd be life-changing. You've got the potential of doing that within 10 weeks. Now if you're very low on capital, say if you've only got $300 or $400, you can start with a prop firm, and we've got dozens of traders now that trade with prop firms. But the bottom line is, if you started say with only $800 on the micro, within 22 weeks you've got the true potential. Now I'm going to show you now how you actually get there. Now let's go to the recording. It's probably the best we do that, so let me just pull up, whoops, wrong one. I'm just going to pull this PowerPoint up as well. So this was actually the day before. What date was this? So this was just so you know, the 3rd of March, and on this one I was up 2,300. Now normally I stop trading, and you may have already seen my video of this day of trading, and once again I didn't record it because I don't have to record. I'm doing this for an income, but I decided to go back and just recap my trades and how I ended up, and you can't really see that, but that's 5,000 down there. I fired off one more trade after that. So and today's trades, which we're about to see the live recording, is this one here. So I had 6 trades from 6. Now with a couple of these trades I only picked up a couple of ticks per contract. I'm trading 5 contracts here. Usually, by the way, on oil I like to trade the 2-tick Renko. That's the size of the Renko bricks. These are what we call 4-tick Renkos. After an hour of training, if you're a brand new trader, you soon learn what that means. So if I trade a 2-tick, means I have less capital involved, and I'll trade more contracts. Because some traders say, why don't you trade 20 contracts on this? Well, I've got a goal. You know, look, there's a big myth about the traders that trade 100 contracts. Is very few that are trading their own money, because it doesn't matter how good your strategy is. I'm 66, by the way. I want to have a stress-free life. I don't want to be trading 100 contracts, but for the young guns watching this, you certainly can. Okay, so let's get into the recording, and so I'll walk you through this. So let me hit record. Now first of all, something I want you to notice, see the white arrows. Now the white arrows identify potential entries, and the black ones also identify potential reversals. Now some of these we're not going to trade if we're in a flat market. Now this one I do want to trade, and that one, and that one I don't want to trade here, and there's some reasons for that. And I want to trade this one, which is where I'm in on this trade. So I want you to also note up above, see that green where it says C high? That's the current day's high. And so these act like price magnets, and as a professional trader, what I know is that pivots, the high of day, the low of day, all act as price magnets, and also major support resistance levels, meaning price is attracted to these levels. Now eventually we end up breaking through those levels. Now what I'll usually do is, if I've got plenty of room, I'll take profit there. But if I'm already at the high, and if I've got a pivot up above, I'll take the next trade. In a video where I spend a lot more time on it, in the training, it makes it a lot easier to understand. But here I'm long 5 contracts here. Now just note there where it says R1, and I should just point out this is just after midnight. No, actually this is 2300, just before midnight Central Standard Time. So it's after midnight Eastern, and as I mentioned, you can start trading from 6 p.m. onwards, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And actually we might even, if we got time, I'll keep this well under 30 minutes. We'll even go to the charts. I think we might run out of time, but I was just going to show you this. The patterns are the same. Basically the markets for futures are open 23 hours a day, and the patterns are the same. What you have to avoid though is long extended consolidation periods. Okay, the spaghetti moves, so we just got to be careful there. This, by the way, is what we call a fanning of the EMAs. Now you've got the option when you trade now on virtually all trading platforms. I'm manually adjusting or thinking here of adjusting my stop, but you can actually have it now on all ATMs now that where you go to break even, etc. Take profits. I take profits automatically, but I'll adjust my stop with what I'm seeing behind me. Most traders prefer to do it automatically. So now I've hit that high. I've also got a pivot just up above. That was yesterday's high. Now I'm pointing out there the R1, that's another pivot up above. Now we tend to go from one pivot to another, and if you like, they're resistance points. So we'll go from one to another, or support points. So I've got a little pullback, so you can see there. Oh, and by the way, you can see with this one, I pulled back and then exited the trade, and that there would have been, we had multiple entries here. So what's next? I'm skipping ahead here. Actually, let me just pause that one. Was I looking at the anchor chart or another market? Just one moment. Okay, let me take now, see this just here, traders. Remember a couple of minutes ago I said I like to trade. I forgot that I'd look back, but that there, this is actually the 2-tick. Now I'm actually trading the 4-tick because the 2-tick of recent times has been too fast. So a little bit confused there. You can't see it there, but just up above there it shows that's a 2-tick. So that is that particular setup there. Now if we were trading the 2-tick, you had a great entry there, here, you wouldn't have taken that one. For members watching this, we're hard up against the major EMAs, and over here you've got another potential entry. So that's why I jumped. I was just looking at it. What did it look like on the lower time frames? Okay, so let me jump ahead here. So this is the 4-tick chart. So in a fast market, traders ask me all the time, which is the right time frame to actually trade? And as I say to them, whichever is tradable. You don't want to be trading, oops, and I've just entered a trade here, so I'm going long. Right, let me focus on this. I remember I said to you we'd be targeting the next pivot above. Now notice here I've brought my stop loss up, and I'm thinking about this, and the reason being, we quite often, and I'm thinking, look, I might give this another go, because we quite often bounce off pivots. So if I'm very close to a pivot point, I'll quite often cover, exit the trade, or get to break even. Now just notice here I've got a great fanning here. Now fanning means your EMAs, your moving averages, are fanning apart. That's a sign of market strength. Now once again, note the arrows. Okay, they're my turning points. So now just notice that there. See how I'd gone to break even, and we ended up pulling back. Now I only picked up a couple of ticks out of that. Now I'm going short here. So this is what we call a pivot bounce. It was probably what I call a 2D, a double divergence, and I recommend all new traders don't trade divergences, trade with the trend. As a 28-year-old, I wish I was 28 years old with the knowledge I have now, but as a 28 year trading veteran, I'm very good at trading divergence, but I've been doing it for a long time. I recommend all new traders, or until you're proficient at trading, just to stick with trading with the trend. So here I'm short on this 2D. I give them codes, by the way, just makes it easier in my coaching room. So here, and you can just see I'm pointing out, I'm targeting this level. Why? I've got a pivot down there. Once you learn how to trade these, it's priceless. I mean, what sort of check do you want to write yourself each day? Literally, it's like that. Now here I've only picked up a couple of ticks again, and the reason being is because of the pivot. So this is scalping, by the way. If I'm only picking up a couple of ticks, and there's a reason for that, because I've got both a moving average, an EMA there, and a pivot. So I was hoping I'd break through with reversal trades. As I mentioned, I want to get out very quickly if I think it's going to reverse. So here I'd be thinking about it. So remember, I had 6 out of 6 here. So what's that? Oh, not fast enough, I'm probably saying here. Whoops, spelling error there. To go long there, it would have been a nice little scalp back into the pivot, by the way. Now remember, we're talking, if you go and pick up say 5 ticks, okay, that's $50 on 5 contracts. Okay, that's $250. It goes a long way towards your $400 a day target. Now usually, and quite often, you'll see me scroll. Oh, there we go. Okay, now that's the recording. What I'm looking at is what's above this level. Where's my next pivot level? Because we tend to bounce from one level to another. Now there's a few other considerations within that. Don't want to make it too simple. Now see up there, that's the R2, and that's where quite often you'll see me increase my target. So here normally I'd be after 16 ticks on this time frame, okay, which is $160 per contract. But if I can see I've got a major price magnet in front of me, here we're trading to the long side, I'll actually increase my target, maybe up to 20 ticks. Okay, and there, that right there, that is 20 tick target I've got there, which is $200 per contract. Now let me just move this along a wee bit for you. Okay, here I'm having a retracement. Now sometimes if I feel I am getting a retracement, and remember we're at the current day's high, which means to continue, we usually bounce off it, have a pullback, and then have another go. But we want to make sure we're trading with the trend here. So just move this along so we're not here for half an hour. And I might have to turn, actually I'm going to move my camera over to the bottom left here so I can move. I just couldn't see how to scroll this along a little further. So here I've got another entry. So if I wasn't already in this trade, we've actually got, oh, you had one there as well. So we've got multiple signals here for entries. Once again, I'm after my 20 ticks here, $200 per contract. So I'll move this along. Okay, so this is actually, when I pause it, that's actually the speed of the market. So that really suits me. Now here I've pulled my stop loss up as, oh, and I hit my final target because I don't want to give it back. Okay, so if you're up $150 per contract, there's I don't want to give that back. Now watch this pivot. Do we hit the pivot? We'll see in a moment. So usually we will. Now I've gone short here, and I'm actually no, I'm in the right price. Let me just pull this back a sec. So let me just see what happens here so I can explain it to you. Now if I see, and I must have had some major divergence, and I did too, so I had some major divergence there, I decided to take what I call a scalp. Now with this particular scalp, I've only picked up a couple of ticks there once again, because this is a counter trend trade again. Now normally I'd be expecting price to pull back to this pivot or back to the major EMA. Okay, so see how we bounce off these all the time. So I exited there because if I get a sniff that we may bounce back to the long side again, I want to get out. Because remember, we've got a major EMA, sorry, I should say a major pivot just up above. So let me move this along a little bit more. Now just note there, for members watching, this is what we call a T10. A T10 is a very high probability trade we see multiple times on every market when you get a decent or a deeper pullback. So hence I'm looking at taking a short again. Now once I'm in the green, if I feel we're going to bounce or get a reversal, I'll just cut it. Okay, get in, get out. It's called probing the market. Very easy once you know how to do it, and you can do it within microseconds. Just here, so I'm looking at my T10. You can see my 16 tick target is way down here, and I can't remember this. I'm recording this, by the way, on Sunday, so this is Thursday's price action. Okay, so I've tightened my stop. Now where have I tightened my stop to? Down of a pivot. Why? As I mentioned, we quite often bounce, so I'll tighten my stop. My target is just down here. Now what we could do, and we'll see what happens, well, hopefully recording goes long enough. Quite often you'll pop here and go down to the next pivot. We'll see what happens here, and if it pops up, and just here I'm trailing now. See how I just and good, come down and filled my final 6 ticks. And do I bounce here, or do we continue? And look what happened just there. So it actually then did continue down to the pivot, and even better. Now this here is a reversal setup, and it's called a T3. It's a mean reversal. This trade kicks butt also. 100% mechanical, no divergence required. I discovered years ago this equation, which is a secret, which members know what it is, which gives you a very high probability chance of a reversal. Now you may look at that because it probably won't go any further than this. However, each one of these steps, traders, is worth $20. So if you go and scalp 4 or 5 steps, that's $80 to $100 per contract. Now let's just see what happens here. So far, I shouldn't say so far because I did finish here. I'm up 548. My target is 400. I've got 6 from 6, and we're probably about, this is a setup within itself. Now I want you to notice, see the gold line? Notice how price hugs that, and we're trading in the direction of that. Now here, where I've got a potential reversal trade, I'm just looking over here at another chart. I want to exit, or at least make sure I'm at break even when I hit that. Why? There's a very good chance I could reverse thereafter. So I'm just going to look at this here. Whoops, sorry about that. So yeah, T3, a pivot bounce as well. So if it's if you've got, say, a divergence trade and a T3, and even a divergence trade, a T3, and a pivot bounce, it becomes what I call a loaded trade. But all of these trades here are all what I call easy money trades. Very easy to learn. The hard part is not the setups, it's here, it's following the rules. And you know, people say to me, or traders say to me all the time, look, if it's so easy, why doesn't everybody do it? Because the easy things are also easy not to do. Traders, greed kills, and it's still, like, you know, many traders would have already clicked off this video. They just want to see that, and they wonder why they keep blowing their accounts. You see, the psychological damage it's done to a trader when they blow their accounts a few times, they usually never recover. And that's why it's so critical, traders, that you learn how to day trade, how to scalp the markets and day trade the right way the first time. So traders, why don't you come and join me? For $297, you get 16 hours of group coaching. You can type in questions, you can email me. You have lifetime access to the members area. There's hundreds, literally, handouts. There's over 35 PowerPoints, dozens of videos, but the great thing is you also don't have to go through them all. I pinpoint for you and teach you the easy money trades, and in fact I recommend you only start off with 2 strategies, and basically probably 80% of those trades were based on those 2 strategies. So in the description link below, you can join. Make sure you get my ebook. You can also download, by the way, the spreadsheet that I use here for my calculations. And if you're still with me, just with these, if you're earning 400 a day, starting off with 8,000, now you may not have 8,000, and that's why you start on the micro. okay? And once again, you can start on the 2 tick where you only need $400 to get going on the micro and build your account. Then you can roll over and start trading the big contract. You might even have the money. I'd still recommend you start on the micro, start on the simulator, then the micro, and go from there. So you can also download, and that's what I was going to say. The way this compound table works, you only start trading another contract when you double your money. So 800 to 1600, we can now start trading 2 contracts. When you've got now 2400, you start trading 3, and you can see how quickly you can do that. So unlike a lot of the BS videos you see on YouTube where they give you these incredible rates of compound, this is realistic because you're using the market's money. So thank you, traders. Look forward to seeing you in one of my coaching rooms.